Have you ever listened to a baby laugh? Not just giggle, but full-on laugh, just out loud with that little tiny voice. There's something so absolutely pure and innocent about that, because that baby hasn't been disillusioned by the world. She hasn't been hurt by people yet. She still trusts people and trusts life's circumstances. She doesn't need anything to be content. Babies just have this sense of joy about them. Now, joy is not a word that we think about very often. We think more about happiness. You know, when I make enough money, then I'll be happy. When I meet the right person, or when I get the right job, I'll be happy then. If I just lose the right amount of weight, or I wear the right clothes, I'll be happy. And the problem with pursuing happiness is that it's based on moving targets. The right person when we are 20 may not be the right person when we're 30 or 40 or 50. The right job can become the wrong one as quickly as getting a new boss who just isn't that great, or maybe we don't click with. The right weight, that changes as our bodies do with age. And the older I get, the more true I know that that is. The difference between joy and happiness is that while happiness is pegged to a moment in time, joy is connected to something deeper. It's not about what we have or don't have. It's more about who we are or who we're becoming. Joy is rooted in the very heart of a person. When you have it, you know it, and you never want to let it go. And when you don't have it, you can still recognize it in others, but you want it desperately. But joy also seems ethereal and hard to catch. It's like trying to catch a butterfly on a windy day. Now in Philippians chapter 4, the Apostle Paul writes about joy. And he says this in Philippians 4 verse 4. He says, "Always be full of joy in the Lord. I say it again, rejoice." Now I've always kind of struggled with this passage, and it may sound strange to you as well because it's a command. It's not find joy somewhere, it's be full of joy. As if joy is not a hidden treasure that we stumble on, but it's a choice that we can make. But I think that's what Paul's actually saying, that joy is available to each and every single one of us. And it's as simple as making the choice of what shirt I'm going to wear today. Now, if that's true, maybe our problem is not that a joyful life isn't available to us, but it's just that we don't know how to choose it. What I want to do is I want to help you to choose joy. And that starts with us knowing where to find it. In Psalm 16, David, he shows us exactly where that is. Psalm 16:11 says this, "You will show me the way of life, granting me the joy of your presence and the pleasures of living with you forever." What David is saying here is kind of revolutionary because he's saying that true joy is found only in God's presence. It's so simple. If it were a snake, it would have bit us, right? What he's saying. But that you can't find eternal joy in temporary things. Now, God is eternal, and God's full of joy. In fact, God is the most joyful person in the universe. And this is what 1 Chronicles 16:27 says. It says that honor and majesty surround him, strength and joy fill his dwelling. So when I was a kid, I had this friend whose mom always had brand name cans of pop filling the fridge, just overflowing with pop. And I hung out at my friend's house all the time because I knew that I could have all the Mountain Dew that I wanted whenever I wanted it. I did everything that I possibly could to go over there. I invited myself over all the time. I made up excuses about why we couldn't hang over at my house just because I wanted to go over there where those sweet, delicious, cold cans of pop were, where I could have as much as I wanted. God's house is full of joy. It's in all of the fridges, it's in all the closets and all the corners. And when you come over to God's house, you can have your fill of it. Joy is found in God's presence. So ask yourself this. Are you finding ways to intentionally spend time with him at his house? Are you doing everything you can every day to just carve out some time to hang out with God, to spend time reading his word, to pray, to talk to him about your life and to ask him for his help, to go outside and take a walk and just think about him, about how good he is, or to sit silently and just let God speak to you? You can't drink your friend's pop if you don't go to your friend's house. And the same is true of joy. You can't consistently experience true joy unless you spend time at its source, and that's God's presence. So answer this question. How can I spend more time in God's presence in order to experience his joy? As you begin to answer this question and live it out, I guarantee you that you will begin to experience joy like you never have before.